Hello and welcome to the next episode of Garage Tours. Just to let you know, if you like what I'm doing here, just smash that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're already not subscribed, and hit that notification bell if you want to be let know when my next video goes live. Thanks again for joining me. So again, we're looking at the Garage Tours again. This is our next episode. This one we're looking at all the forestry equipment. And you see here on the garage, I have everything lined up around me that I could find that we actually use or could use with regards to forestry. So on the left here we have all the larger machinery, including the lorries, the trailer pulled by trucks as well. Over here we have the skid steers and the equipment they use, and over on this side then we have equipment that's used for the tractors, the front loaders, the Manitou, and also the planter. So we start here with the big machinery. So first off here we have the Ponce Scorpion King. This is the classic one here that was in the last Farming Simulator 17 also, and the 18 game. I don't think it was at Farming Simulator 16 on the mobile, but it's definitely in the 18 mobile version. Actually, it was in 16 mobile. I played 16 mobile and it was also. So what you see, there's all. The difference with this one is we have all new tracks on all the forestry equipment. So these are all different types of tracks you can get for each one of them. There's chains here. There's more like a tracks on these ones. All the options, if you go into the menu here, you can actually see it. So we'll go to forestry equipment here. Take for example even the this one here. You can see the wheel setup. You can get wide tires, standard. Then you've got Eco Track, Evo Baltic, the EX track. This one has the Kovac, Magnum, Pro Grip U. There's all a massive variety of different tracks you can get on them. So the next large tree cutter is the Komatsu. So this is a new addition for this season. The Komatsu brought a range of stuff in, and even you can see here the nice interiors on it. Looks well. There's the crane mount. You can actually see here that they've actually introduced a smaller tree cutter as well. This wasn't in the previous one. This is a new addition to the game. It's nice to see it's a more budget machine if you can't afford to go for the big massive machines. Inside as well. This basic machine. Next one, that's another camera for the arm. The next one then is the Ponce Buffalo. So this will be used for transporting the logs. So this machine would generally be used to transport logs from where it's been cut, where the Scorpion would actually cut it in the middle of the forest, to transport to the edge of the road where a larger lorry would pick it up and then transport it to the seller, or the buyer would even pick it up and transport it to the sawmill. I haven't seen one of these work now, but I have seen one of these. I think it's the Scorpion I've seen. It's fantastic when there's a skill behind it. It's something else to watch. So this is the Komatsu Forest. So again, this is the same one as the one beside it, the Ponce. To its right. This is the Komatsu version. You can even get a camera there for looking at the lift or the grab arm. Different mechanics. Hop out of that one. So next then is we have the MAN TGX. So the previous two machines would be used to, again, to bring cut logs out to a side of a road where something like this would pick it up. Now this one can unfold. Watch it here. You got caught in the one beside it. So you can see my man sits into the back of it. And then you can control it then from there. We'll fold it back up again. Make sure you cut the logs the appropriate length for these ones. And then he sits back into the front of the lorry again. So inside wise. Any standard truck, 2 seats, looks like a bed in the back. Nice spaces up front. Controls. So then what we're looking at here is, this is more equipment used to cut down the trees into sawdust. So these two here are 2 different machines. This one here is, they're both pulled to the site, but the one here would be mainly used, you'd actually use this one when it's still connected to the tractor. So the PTO shaft and the tractor would actually control this one here. And you'd load it up with the short arm and load it into the grinder, and then it would shoot from this spout here into a trailer or waiting trailer. This one here is a more standalone. This one you can actually operate on its own without any sort of tractor or powering machine. So we turn it. Can we turn it on? And that's it turned on then. And again, it can feed into a trailer. Or I've seen someone doing an FS17 feed it directly into a sell point. Or a... I'm not sure what they were selling at the time. You can turn that off there. You can actually adjust the height of the belt as well. Put the pipe back in again. Fold it up and we'll get out. So that's, and then we have what, these two down here. So this is something that hitch on again to the back of a tractor, but again it's self-propelled. Not self-propelled, but you can sit in to control it. It's not controlled directly from the tractor or from the unit to tow it. Again, this could be towed by a machine, or sorry, a truck with a tow hitch, just to load up. This also comes in a different version. You can have it a bale loader. Now this last one here to this side then is the truck one, the rigid, or sorry, the Arctic lorry unit, where you'd have a separate unit loading up trees directly into it, or cut trees. So that's a lot of the larger stuff. Then we go over to the skid steers. So there's two types of skid here. Your track one and your wheel one. And there's 4 different implements. So your first implement here is a tree cutter. So this one here you can actually, you'll be using it to cut trees. And you can adjust it, the height, and then you can actually grab the tree. This one, when you grab the tree, you're actually able to hold it in place and carry it around. And if you have out this one and go into the next one, then this one would be something similar. No, keeps getting to the same one. Come on, get into this one here. No, I don't want to get into that one. Here, we'll move out of the way. Get over here. Stay over there. That's it. Go over there. Get out of my way. This one then, if you see, this one would just cut trees down. This is not something, you wouldn't have to be able to carry the tree on, as you said with the other one. This you just go along and start chopping everything around you. This then is a stump grinder. So if you cut down the trees, you can actually go along and actually grind out the stump. So the stump disappears also, because the stump becomes an obstacle. Machinery can bump into and hit and and get caught in. Turn this one on here as well. Turn on the stump grinder. What you do is just place it on the stump and cut it down to get rid of it. Turn it off. This one then is just a simple grab for grabbing logs and for carrying them around. That's all this one here is. So we move on to the tractors. So on the back here you can see that there's a stump grinder, again for the back of a tractor. This one, the front, is actually a tree cutter, so again the same purpose. You line it up and go up to a tree and you can cut it down. Again, I don't think it has actually any sort of carrying capacity. Our next one then, on the front of it here, we have a log carrier. That goes on the front of a front loader. And then on the back here then we have what this is you can pick up the end of a log or set of logs and you can pull it along behind you to maybe where you want a machine that's actually chopping them up. If you see the front wheel loader here, you've got the large grab. You grab large chunks of trees. Grabs a lot larger capacity than the other ones. Then you have the Manitou here with again a log carrier. And then when last in the line here, this is the actual planter. If you want to actually industrially start planting trees, you can actually use this and plant a full field of trees. So you can come along and chop it down at a later time. And all these baskets of trees can be bought in the shop. You just have to keep loading it up. Now the last thing I want to show you out here is actually a placeable. This physical item is an item that has to be placed. And again, this does the same job. This is an actual solid unit. Can't be moved. Once down, that's it. This grinds up your wood. I don't know if it actually sells it. Here, we'll check on it. We'll check in the shop anyway. So we'll go to the shop and we'll take a look at where it is. So your forestry machines here are all under. These are all your big machines. Then when you go, you can go into your menu here, and there's more forestry machines here. So there's your forestry equipment. So again, this is all the smaller stuff, your planter, all your attachments for your machines. There's the three smaller mobile stuff. There's the big trailer. Then when you go into, if you go into wheel loaders, there's your log fork. Skid steer, you have your skid steer items in here. You have your front loader items in here. Where it is, there's your log fork. There's your chainsaws as well, if you want to do it by hand. And here as you go to, you'll have your pallets. There's your sapling pallets. Can be bought, there's 20 pieces, 1,000 a piece. And then if you go into your placeables and miscellaneous, you have your converted wood chips. There, it actually sells it. So any logs put into the machine are converted into wood chips, and that are immediately sold to the sawmill. So you can place that on your site or close to where you're actually chopping everything down, and you can actually chop directly into it. That'll make it a lot easier with regards selling it. So you can have that if you went industrial and started planting a full field. You could have that sitting beside your field, and then every time you chop something you could haul everything over to it and sell it directly to it, the sawmill. Now as regards selling it, there's a few areas. So we would, there's our sawmill. There's our sawmill there. So 234. the wood is all based on how straight it is. So if you go along, you'll see a lot of trees around the map here. They're not, some of them are nice and straight. Others are very crooked, as you can see here. The price will be better for a straighter tree. So if you decide to actually do it industrially and plant a whole field full of trees, you'll get a better price for the tree than if you were to go along and actually cut down a lot of the trees around the map. So I hope that helps anyone that is looking to get into forestry. Again, you can start with very cheaply with small, just using your tractor to transport a lot of the stuff. You can use chainsaws to cut it. You could, and if you buy a small trailer, even the likes of this one here, you can actually transport all to the sawmill for a pretty low starting cost. And then you can go the whole way up to your largest machines here to cut them down. And you can put a placeable, and you can really invest financially into it. So there's a lot of varied starting points for anyone who wants to get into it. Now the one thing you have to remember is on the map. With the map, you cannot just randomly cut trees where you want. You have to be able to cut the trees on the land you own. So if you own a plot of land, you can only cut trees that you own. So you can't, not in Farming Simulator 17, you could just randomly drive anywhere and cut down any tree. You have to own the land that these trees are on. So there's a lot more thought into it this time, and it's a lot more stalling to make sure you just don't go around and try and make money from forestry just by cutting everything around you. Well, that's it for this video. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Garage Tours looking at the forestry. Again, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy what you're seeing. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you later. And slán!